What is Super GT? You may find yourself asking at the moment. It's something that everybody around Europe is talking about. Well, Super GT is Japan's premier motor racing series, and it features some of the most highly tuned and most extreme closed-roof race cars in the world. In the GT500 category, the fastest cars out there, they're nearly as quick as the LMP1 cars that race in the Le Mans 24 Hours. Super GT is split into two categories, GT500 and GT300. The numbers in those names are meant to denote the rough amount of brake horsepower that each car in that class has. GT500 should have about 500 horsepower, and GT300, 300 horsepower. However, the names have since become just a habit, and it's actually nonsense. The GT500 cars have about 650 brake horsepower, while the GT300 cars have around 500 horsepower. But let's start with GT500. It's the big daddy of GT racing. These are the fastest GT cars in the world. There are 3 cars currently built to GT500 regulations. Lexus have the LC500, Honda the NSX, and of course the big one of them all, the Nissan GTR. All of these cars are fitted with a 4-cylinder 2-litre turbocharged engine with direct injection. These tiny little engines produce, as I said, about 650 brake horsepower for almost no weight, giving these cars absolutely extreme performance. When you look at the aerodynamics, it's quite clear these are high downforce cars, but they may look a little bit reminiscent of something else, namely the German DTM series. That's because Super GT, the GT500 class at least, runs the same aerodynamic and chassis technical regulations as DTM. However, the GT500 cars have a more powerful engine, and because Super GT is a tyre wall class, whereas DTM is a single tyre formula, Super GT cars also have more grip, which makes them a hell of a lot faster. GT300 at first glance may appear to be just another FIA GT3 specification championship, but look a little bit longer and you start to notice some strange things. Or, as I call them, Toyota Priuses. The GT300 regulations are split into 3 separate categories within the GT300 class. First of all, there is FIA GT3. These cars are absolutely identical in every way to the cars you see racing in Europe, in the Blancpain Endurance Series, in the Pirelli World Challenge, and many other championships like British GT. However, if you don't want to buy a GT3 car, you can just build your own car to what's called the JAF GT300 regulations. These regulations allow you to use any car within a certain set of dimensional restrictions which aren't very interesting, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a top-line sports car, hence why you can have a Toyota Prius. And that class allows you to position any engine from the manufacturer's range in the car. It doesn't have to be the engine the car comes on sale with. So, the Toyota Prius, for example, has a Toyota LMP1 engine in the back of it rather than in the front. The Subaru BRZ, which also races in that same class, has an old WRC-based EJ20 Subaru Flat 4 Boxer engine in the front of it. And if that wasn't complicated enough, then there's the mother chassis cars. The mother chassis is a one-make carbon fibre monocoque you can buy from the GTA, the Super GT organisers. And you have to fit that with an off-the-shelf 4.5 litre V8 engine. So there's a Lotus Evora, a Toyota GT86, and of course a Toyota Mark X, which is not at all pretty. But the aerodynamics, of course, are extreme, and they can be modified through the year and through the life of the car, whilst the FIA GT3 cars are just in the spec they arrived in. This allows for really unusual and really strange, confusing racing, and it's brilliant to watch.